Welcome back to Williams Designs. So glad you're here with us as we are now going to give a full review on this heat press, automatic heat press, HTVront or HTVront. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, but looking forward to this because it has been a blessing and I think it's a great heat press. And I want to give my pros and cons, just like I gave the pros and cons on my previous review for the PUNEHOD DTF printer. And as I mentioned in that video that I was going to give this review. So here we go. We're going to hop right into this. And my first pro is it heats up. When you turn it on, it heats up really quick. You're not waiting that long. And I want to show you how long. So I'm going to speed up the video. I'm going to turn it on and then speed up the video, put a timer on so you can see, how long it takes for it to warm up to the recommended settings that you set. So it's going to be different for you if you set it lower, but for my settings it's about 320 degrees at normally what I set it to. So let me do that and set the camera up, that way you can see this. All right, so as you can see, or as you saw, it took just about 5 minutes or so to get it to about 320 degrees, which is not bad at all. I mean, you turn it on, you could be setting other things up, getting things prepared, and in 5 minutes you're ready to go to start heat pressing and pressing the shirts. Which is, once again, I believe that's a great time. I mean, I want to just remind everybody, I'm small business. This is my first time doing this. So I can't compare it to other things, but just for me, I feel like that's not bad at all. So it's a pro, and it gives you the green light to let you know you're ready to go. It'll blink red as it's warming up, or if you change it to decrease it, it'll also blink red to tell you that it's cooling it down. It's not ready yet until you're ready to go. Let me talk about the functionality of the heat press, these buttons and what they mean. And just how simple it is. That's another pro, simple functionality. And so let me move the camera, get it closer here. So these buttons, here we have the temperature gauge icon, which you can imagine what that's for, the temperature. And click on it, and then you use these plus and minus to go up in temperature, to go down in temperature, and pretty simple. And then the timer here would be for the time. Same thing, go up or down and set the timer. The green button here, when it's green, it means it's ready to go. You click on that and it'll heat press when you press it. This right here is the automatic, so you click on that and you'll see the icon there. This is when it automatically presses for you. I'm going to show that later so you can see how that works, but pretty much you pull the drawer out, push the drawer in, and it automatically presses it for you. You can turn it off and manually heat press it yourself, which is fine as well. It has two manual settings that you can set for yourself. So you can set one and then have another one. So that's two. And one could be for specific shirts and the other one could be for other things, which is great. And then this is they have their own settings. They have 4 of them, 4 different settings that you cannot change, but they have these already preset on the heat press. So again, this is simple, it's easy, it works really well, and yeah, I think this is a pro. This is a very good thing. It's not complicated, and anyone could really use this. One thing I want to mention is this is a con, and for me it's not a big deal, but for others this is something for you to realize. Since it only has 2 manual settings that you can set, some of you would probably want more than that. You know, 2 settings is great to have, but some of you may want 4, like they have on the preset settings that they have on the machine. They have 4 of the preset. So it would have been nice probably to have at least 3 manual settings. 4 would be ideal, but now once again, for me, this is not a problem at all. The 2 settings work just fine. But then again, I'm not doing a whole lot of different kinds of, materials or anything like that. So I wanted to point that out for those who need to know. Moving on to another pro, at least I feel it's a pro. The sliding out feature here of where the shirt is pressed on, I think it's really cool. It slides out to you, just makes it clean. Not to say the other ones are bad, the ones that kind of flip up, but to me this is cool, sliding out feature. And so you would place the shirt on here, and as you've probably seen in my other videos, and you've probably seen this done, and I have my little test shirt here, and I'm going to turn on the auto so you can see how this works. And pretty much it comes with, by the way, I didn't even tell you what it comes with, obviously the power cord and everything you need. Setup is very easy. This, I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of like a material specifically resistant to heat, and you place it on top of the graphic, the heat transfer paper, on the shirt. You place it on top, and I believe this is what I think it does, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it protects from the actual transfer sheet from being burned, because that can happen very easily, and it helps a lot. I've used it on everything. Every time I do a heat press, I use this, and even when I reheat press the shirt where it's already on the shirt and I've already peeled it, I put this on, and I believe it protects it from being like extremely burned or anything like that. So I'm glad it came with this. It's great. I will probably put the correct name of it on the screen for you so you understand what it's called. But sorry, I'll go ahead and put it in. So basically you just slide the drawer in, and it's just going to automatically do it. And it's going to automatically apply the pressure for you and everything. So really cool. And if you want to stop it, you just press the green again, and it'll lift, pull it out, and that's it. It's, like I said, simple, easy, but I love how the drawer pulls out and pulls in. It's just so easy to use. And that's how you would do every shirt. Place it on, and then you do it. I turned off the auto so that way you don't automatically. That's probably one thing. I guess I was gonna wait for the cons, but that is one con here, is that if the auto button is on and you don't have a shirt on here and you press this in, it's gonna automatically press. So be careful of that. What I do usually when I'm like doing multiple shirts, I won't push it in all the way. You can tell when the click is gonna happen. I don't push it all the way. I push it like this, and then I'm ready for my next shirt. I'll pull it out, and then I'll push it in all the way. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. But that, that's a con, little small con there. Another con, since we're on this subject now, is the spacing. The measurement of this, matter of fact, let me get my measuring tape to measure this, and I'll mention that in just a second. But the issue is when you're placing the shirt, it stops, the actual drawer stops like right here. This is the heat right here. You can feel it, and you could burn yourself if you're not careful. And I consider that a con, man. Trying to, you want to put your shirt up as much as possible, and you're trying to, put it on there correctly and space it out and all that. It's kind of hard to do all that. When you have, the ones that lift and you have more space to work with, you're able to do anything you need to without getting yourself burned or anything. But this one, man, you got to be careful when you're trying to put the shirt and fix it and do all that. Be careful. And the size of this, as I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and measure this. Okay, I retract my statement. I do apologize. It's 15 inches wide. I thought it was a square, but it's not completely a square. It's a little shorter on the the length side here, and it's just under 15 inches. So it's supposed to be 15 by 15. And that's the size here. But for some of you, you may need it bigger than that, and that's something you gotta know about. And so 15 by 15 is the size here. And again, when you're putting that shirt up, you know, it's just hard. So that could be a con for some people, but I'd say it's a con just kind of dealing with that. You don't want to be nowhere near the heat press itself to burn yourself, you know. So, you know, that's one thing I wanted to mention there. Let's move on to the next. Coming to another pro here is the price. For what you get, you know, from this, I believe it's great. It's reasonably priced. It's priced at $300, and I got the combo deal, so to speak, where you get 2 heat presses. You get the heat press for, you know, doing, you know, shirts, things like that. But also I got the one where you could do hats. And I haven't done that yet, so I can't give any thoughts on that at all. I bought it specifically thinking about the future. Eventually I'll probably do that, and so you'll probably see that in the future video. But, you know, with the heat press, I mean, for $300, I think it's a great deal and a great price. And so I mentioned this in my review with the PUNEHOD DTF printer review, where like you buy this, and then, you know, as long as you have DTF sheets and you know, you buy those with your design on them, you could just press them and be ready to go. Start your, you know, t-shirt business at home with this. So I think this is a good price, and I want to leave that as a pro. All right, the next pro I want to talk about is the consistency of this heat press. I've had this heat press now for actually the same amount of time as I've had the DTF printer, which has been about 6 months or so, 5 to 6 months. And I've used it heavily for the 4.5 months, probably would be the correct time frame. And it's been pretty consistent. I haven't had any issues. The pressure has, I mean, like I said, for me at least, it's been consistent, not inconsistencies in that. So that's a pro, and I'm thankful for that. So I don't think you'll have to worry about that as much. But that does lead me to a con, which is the fact that you cannot change or alter the pressure at all. It automatically does it itself, which is great, but sometimes you want to be able to control that kind of thing, and that's something you cannot do with this heat press. And so keep that in mind. You will not be able to control the pressure, the amount of pressure on the shirt that you're pressing on the shirt. So that's a con, and it's not a huge con for me, at least. It's been great. I haven't had any issues, but for those of you who need that and want that, but I've only been doing the same kind of shirts. I know this will be different when you're doing with different kinds of shirts and different materials and all that. It plays a part, so that's something to keep in mind. And really, the last con for this is, and it's not a huge one, it's just something to point out, is when you turn it off. So I'm going to turn it off right now. It will blink. That light will blink just like that, and it will continue to do that. So at first I thought, okay, you know, it's blinking because it's cooling down, and it's letting you know it's cooling down, which it is true, it is cooling down. But the problem is this light does not go off at all. It stays like that, where it blinks, blinks, and blinks. And I had to research it because I didn't know. I researched it and looked it up, and people said, "Oh, don't worry, it's off, but it just continues to blink." But this bothers me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have, it just bothers me a lot. So I decided, I turned it completely off by unplugging it. Really, I have a button, a switch down below, which I turn it off completely. But I do wait for it to cool down first. So I let it, cool down, and then I eventually turn it off. But this is, this can't be a con. At least to me, I think it's still pulling power, even though it's not on. But I could be wrong. It's just maybe, being paranoid here. But this is something that may bother you. You're like, wait, what? Is it off? You're not sure if it's off. Well, it's off, but it's cooling down, and it's going to stay blinking like that. So just to let you know, if you purchase this machine, that's what happens. But that will conclude my pros and cons of this automatic heat press. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and lead into giving my final thoughts, and that'll be it. All right. So my final thoughts of this, excuse me, HTVront Heat Press, automatic heat press. Well, for me, in my situation, and for what I'm doing right now, it's great. I think it's fantastic. It works really well. It's fast for what I need it for. And the one thing I didn't mention, I should have mentioned this as a pro, sorry, the space, the size of the heat press, the whole machine itself. It's not that big. It fits on this table here as the DTF printer, which is huge, by the way. But this one fits on there just fine, and it's good in terms of spacing. But yeah, for my situation, this heat press is amazing. I love the automatic heat press. It helps, and it makes it, to me at least, feel like it's faster when you're doing it. You just push it in, boom, let it do its thing. And the consistency and all the pros that I mentioned, for me, it's great. The cons I mentioned, not really all those cons are really that big of a deal. The only one really that I mentioned is the one where, you know, that you can accidentally burn yourself type of thing. I wish it did pull out a little bit farther out, so that way you have more space to work with. But other than that, man, this heat press is amazing. It does everything well and does what I need it to. So I give it a 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, you know, somewhere around that range. It's to me on point. Now, does it fit your situation? That's something you got to evaluate for you and see if this works for you and your business and what you're doing and, you know, where you're at. So that's it for this final full review and detailed review of this automatic heat press. I do have a link in the description below if you want to get yours. You can click on that. I got mine from Amazon. I didn't mention that. I got it from Amazon. And yeah, it's been great. Check out my other videos, other review videos about DTF printing or other things like that. Or if you want to look, check out the music. You can do that as well. But thank you for watching. And don't forget to check out the website, WilliamsDesigns.com. Check out what we have to offer as well. But thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful, blessed day.